Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. 1 minute late, but that's usually the case for me. I can't quite get it going on time. But we have two Beam Suntory brands. Expensive Old Crow. You can get this bottle for about $10.99. Okay. The other one is Old Granddad, and you can get this one. I was setting up the chat, sorry, the live chat. You can get this one for about $19.99 for the regular size bottle. So you've basically got two Kentucky straight bourbon whiskeys from the same distillery, Claremont in Frankfort, Kentucky. Same proof, 80. Same general ingredients, barley malt, of course, water, barley malt, corn, and rye, but with the Old Granddad having a higher rye content. But with the Old Granddad being nearly twice the price. So the question here is, well, one question is, with this Dawn Busters taste challenge as the sun rises in the east, can a person tell them apart? Well, I'm only one person, so can I tell it apart in a blind taste test? Secondly, is there going to be a big difference in quality, if any difference in quality? And the third question is, should a person be willing to pay a higher price for one over the other? Well, we'll have to see. I think my hypothesis is this. Here's the hypothesis. If I taste both of these in a blind taste challenge, with both being at the same temperature and the same size glass, then I would probably I will be able to tell the difference because of the higher rye content in Old Granddad. But we'll see by testing the hypothesis. All right. Of course, when you do these things, you're not really giving it a good test because you want to replicate it. You do it repeatedly. But then that's impractical in the sense that you just review channel like mine, then you never get anywhere with too many brands. Like we've talked about this, John Sharon and I, who does Zone 1. We talked about how, yeah, you can do a review and give it a score, and that's fine. But to be fair, you really want to do it 5 times at the minimum, maybe 6, a 6-pack, right? Because you want replication. You say, well, it's just an opinion. It's true, it's an opinion, but you want it to be based on some reliable exercises, I think. All right, so first we'll go with Old Granddad because that's the older version. This is the older, well, an older brand, not an older recipe, really. OGD, here we go. What am I saying? Old Crow. I've only drank coffee. Old Crow, that's the older one from 1835. But of course, this recipe is from like 1987. Old Granddad, that company started 1840. They started with the Old Granddad in 1882. But this recipe, the 80 proof, is only from around 2013. So we're only talking about 4 years old or less. OGD. So these are both modern expressions, if you want to use that term, of these old brands. These are not the original recipe. Old Crow uses the sour mash process. Old Granddad is not indicating the sour mash process. 36 months. Old Granddad is not giving an age statement, which means it's aged at least 4 years. So there are differences. Now the appearance, OGD, Old Granddad, it's just a medium amber, you can see, just a typical looking whiskey on the lighter side of the shade spectrum. Old Crow, and they both have some alcohol eggs. Old Crow is about the same, on the lighter side of medium, light to medium amber. So by appearance, you wouldn't really detect much difference. Let's see here. It was a little chilly last night with that window unit air conditioner running. So I hope that goes away. I don't want to catch a cold. People say, I like how these people say on television, catching a chill does not cause a cold. But yet people catch chills and get colds all the time. So okay. So we'll mix them up. Let's see if we have any. Carol says, cheers. Cheers back to you, Carol. Dallas Cowboys. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dallas Cowboys. What's the temperature in Louisiana? We had a lot of rain and it was overcast, so it's not too relative to what it normally is. It's very damp. I'm going to try to cut the grass today after the grass dries, if it dries. It should dry. See, I'm looking up AccuWeather right now. It's good and mixed up, okay? So we look the same, so it's not going to tip me off. 72 degrees. I thought it was about that. Yeah. Yep, that's right. What's up, my favorite beer, liquor, entertaining educator, Victor Quinion says. What's up, Victor? It's a Dawn Buster morning taste challenge. It's a little sweet in this first one here. Spicy in the aroma and the alcohol and the dried fruit. Just smells like, you know, whiskey. If you smell enough whiskeys, you're going to pick up those commonalities in aroma. And if you smell enough brandies, you're going to pick up those commonalities in aroma. And if you smell enough gin, you're going to pick up those commonalities in aroma. If you smell enough beer, you're going to pick up those commonalities in aroma. If you smell enough wine, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so then you just got to break it down on quality questions. You know, then you start looking at the quality considerations. You say, like with beer, Camo is a beer and it smells like beer. It just smells like a horrendously bad beer. If you smell Elysian Space Dust or Samuel Adams Boston Lager, they smell like beer too, but they're nearly light years ahead of Camo. You would almost have to go through a time warp to catch up if you were Camo. Well, you couldn't catch up. It wouldn't matter what kind of scientific technology or advancements you had, that could never catch up. This one has a whiskey aroma to it, sweet, alcoholic. You're gonna smell like alcohol. Okay, it's hard liquor. Okay. The dried fruit, the dried flowers, but I'm not picking up a lot of spice in the nose. So guess what? I know already, but I don't know. Let me taste it. I think I know, but I don't know. All the things I described about this first one, but maybe with a little spiciness. Although this one seems to have a little of that going too. Well, I mean, they use rye in the Old Crow. Maybe this one has more sugariness. Well, I have a feeling this is going to be hard to figure out. Okay, already. This is answering questions already. Tastes good. Yum. Well done. Obviously distilled by master craftsmen. Yeah, it's mass produced. Yeah, it's a macro liquor. And no, that does not indicate that it's lower quality. It's made in a huge factory worse than something made in a small opinion. It's really irrelevant. I think it's if it's made well is the question, if the product is well made. Now you see, this one seems to have that spicy note. I can't really tell the difference. And so right there is a lesson, another lesson. First lesson, macro, mass produced, huge factory, one of the biggest liquor companies in the world, but yet they both taste good. Second lesson, they're very similar. They also have that underlying green wood, that mossiness that you get with Jim Beam products. So I'm thinking they use a base, the same base. William Kepley says they use the same Jim Beam base to make the Old Crow, except they age Old Crow 3 years and they age Jim Beam 4 years. Okay. $4 extra for a year of aging for two products that taste almost identical? I don't believe so. I'm going to pay almost twice the price here for Old Granddad versus Old Crow. And in a blind taste test, I can't tell the difference. I don't think so. Now I have a friend, I work with him. He says, oh, I buy Old Granddad to make my my old fashions, and I buy Old Crow to give to people when I have a party, and I want them to, you know, not waste my good stuff. And I'm thinking, yeah, but in a blind taste test, you may not tell them, you may not be able to differentiate. So you may be paying $19.99 as opposed to $10.99, but you're getting almost no uptick in flavor. So this happens a lot, right? This is why I buy Milwaukee's Best premium beer instead of Miller Genuine Draft, because I'm paying 40% less and I'm getting 0% less quality. Can't get Miller Genuine Draft around here anymore. Pretty much, it's out of the town. Nobody buys it, so they got rid of it. People buy the Milwaukee's Best premium, however. Although I noticed Walmart stopped carrying it because it wasn't selling. So Miller said, okay, we're going back to the name premium instead of lager. Excuse me. Although they didn't change the recipe back, it's still that 4.8%, that improved 4.8%. I find it's improved. Okay, well, anyway, I think that one is the Old Granddad. But I think that one could be the Old Granddad because they're both pretty spicy. The rye seems high. The rye seems high in the Old Grand, in both. Well, okay, I'm gonna say the left side is Old Granddad by a nose. But really, honestly, I can't tell the difference. I really don't know. I'm gonna just say, so you could say you were wrong, but I mean, I was wrong already, right? I'm wrong already. I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm just taking, I mean, I got a 50-50 chance, right? It's going to either be right or it's going to be wrong. 50-50 chance. It's finally pretty hot in Poland. Oh, 75. That's warm. I don't know if I call that hot, but warm, nice, pleasant. Old Crow. See what I mean? I couldn't tell. Old Crow. I was saying this could be it, but it might be that. It might be this, but it might be that. So my hypothesis is I would be able to tell them apart based on Old Granddad's higher rye content. My hypothesis was incorrect, at least in one exercise. I could not tell them apart. Secondly, do I detect a difference in quality? No, I do not. They're both well made and they're both enjoyable. So which one would I buy if I was buying one of them to drink? I never really buy any liquors to drink. I just buy them to do reviews because there's like 10,000 whiskeys and brandies, and you know, it's like I'll never get back to the original. Like you said, when are you going to get back to Old Granddad? Never, probably. I mean, I have 80% of the bottle left. I'll be using that for years, probably, to do challenges. It's sometimes hard to tell upon both awesome hard liquors because it sometimes disguises its taste. But as far as paying $19, I think it's based on the bottle material, whether big or small. Material. You mean like the perception of it, like people think it's a better brand, so they pay more? Jeffrey Paynes. Hello, Jeffrey. Have you ever had Jameson Irish whiskey? And if so, what do you think about it? I have not had it. I've heard about it for years. My daughter says it's her favorite. So what have I heard about it? Everything I've heard has been positive. Do I plan to try it one day? Yes, I do. When will that be? It'll probably be about 2 years minimum. Because if you look at my back stock right now, there's going to be no new purchases unless I run across the Jim Beam Jim Beam Choice, which is Jim Beam aged 5 years and charcoal filtered. Because response from Jim Beam yesterday, and they said that it is soon. It was a lady, and she said it's going to be discontinued very soon, which is why they stopped talking about it on their website, except for the locator tool. She said, so if you see it in a store, you want to buy it if you ever intend to try it. So if I ever drive to Tennessee or Kentucky, I'll look for it. You know, sometimes these bottles will stay on the shelves for years, but it is going to be cut apparently this year. There won't be any more Jim Beam Choice. There's so many Jim Beam varieties, right, that they just kill off the ones that aren't doing too well. Sort of like Jack Daniel's Green Label. It used to be everywhere. Now it's down to only 5 states, and then I guess maybe eventually they'll just get rid of it. But I would always, if I was buying Jack Daniel's, I would always buy the Green Label because it's about $5 cheaper and it tastes the same as the black. My father said he couldn't tell the difference either back in the 70s and 80s, so he would just buy the green because, I mean, no one complained. Like, they would have crawfish boils or crab boils or parties, and no one would say, oh, why'd you buy Jack Daniel's green? They would just drink it. I mean, they didn't care. Yeah, it's Louisiana. It's alcohol. They don't care. Believe me. Usually what they would buy would be Winn-Dixie brand. That's a shopping chain here, a grocery store chain here, and they would mostly buy Winn-Dixie brand. Rum, gin. Well, mainly they would buy Winn-Dixie brand. Vodka, rum, whiskey. You know, the blended whiskey and the Canadian whiskey and the bourbon whiskey. Or they'll buy the Walmart brands, which is Caliber. Walmart has their own house brand, Caliber liquor, which is the same company that does the Winn-Dixie brands and the Albertsons brands and Safeway. That's all Sazerac in Kentucky. Ron, how would you awesomely renew? What? How would you awesomely renew the company Jim Beam? I don't understand that question, Victor. Okay, so very good. Very good. Who wins? I guess the rye content is starting to come out a little bit, especially in the exhalation on the Old Granddad. Might win by a hair, but like say, yeah, it might be worth paying $1 more a bottle. But $9 more a bottle? No. For that, that's no kind of good trade-off. So who really wins? Well, the brand that really wins is Old Crow. Old Crow wins this contest. Test against Jim Beam. Old Crow keeps winning and winning and winning. And why does it keep winning and winning and winning? because the price is nice. $10.99 for this 750 milliliter bottle. You might say, oh, I'm not buying Old Crow because if my friends come over and they see that, they'll tease me because I didn't buy Jim Beam or Jack Daniels. I'll tell you what, let them pay the extra $6 and then they don't have to tease. It's funny how people will make comments about the drink for free. All right? Or beer that they're about to drink for free. I like the labels on these brands because they're filigreed. It's got a texture on it, rumpled, and each letter is elevated, and you can feel the bird. It's got, it has, that's called filigree. Okay, so it's not just cheap stuff. Each letter, you could feel it. Like if you had your eyes closed, you could feel the label and all the different parts of it. Same thing with the Old Granddad. It feels like leather, like a leather cover. And then each letter is elevated, and the foil, the gold foil part is elevated. So you could tell it's a quality item. It's not just some cheap junk. You get these store brands and you just feel the label and it feels cheap. Oh well, that's that. I think Victor might mean would you review the company Jim Beam, or would I regard it? How would I regard it? Well, I think they're fine for me. I don't know anything bad about them. They're really owned by Suntory Holdings, which is a Japanese company. From what I've heard, the Suntory whiskeys are really world class. They're venerated across the world. They talked about it in that whiskey book I had gotten from the library, whiskeys that everybody should try. And they actually talked about these two brands in the book. And then they were talking about, of course, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. And they talked about those Suntory brands. So I would like to try them. Oh, Victor says, getting your awesome money's worth for the Old Crow. All right, Victor, that's awesome that you're awesomely commenting in an awesomely awesome way. All right, that's the end. So Old Crow wins again. Old Crow wins again. Really like this Old Crow. Thanks for watching this video production.